Hi guys, and good afternoon, creeps. You already know it's time for another direct upload. Okay, so today I want to talk about how the media is trying to push black men mainly onto white people as suitable mates. Okay. So what this is that I just was watching some video. I don't know who it was. It was a very short video, and it was explaining about how Jeffree Star is now dating a black man. Apparently, this black man had some woman that he was engaged to or was with, and they have a child together. It was the black man was apparently in a heterosexual relationship, and he got out of that relationship, and he's now dating a white man named Jeffree Star, who is if you don't know who Jeffree Star is, just put him in the YouTube search, Jeffree Star, and he is a cosmetics owner, and he is, he likes to wear makeup, and he's a very beautiful white guy that looks like a beautiful white woman sometimes. Okay, so what I wanted to say is that first and foremost, I don't disagree with interracial relationships. I don't date black men. I am a person of color, and I'm always with ever since I was maybe about 19 years old. I mainly have been with white men. So let me say this. What it looks like to me is that Jeffree Star is a sellout. Jeffree Star used to be a racist. He had posed with the Confederate flag a couple of times, and he was always a very white, pro-white type of guy. And I don't want to disrespect Jeffree Star because I do like Jeffree Star, but let me just try to articulate it in a very quick way because I don't have much time. Like, ever since I was very young, I noticed this, even when I was a child. I noticed that whenever a white person would become famous, then they just automatically started dating a black person. Now, this has been going on for years. And if you notice, when you are on the UK Daily Mail or Top Buzz, any of these big news sites, when they are promoting people, it's very rare that they promote two white people in a loving relationship. For some reason, they don't promote two white people. Most of these relationships that they promote are always, interracial. So obviously, this is the media's way of pushing black people onto the white race. Because honestly, it does have a very real impact, especially on young white girls that are dating black men, because usually that's the relationships that are being promoted. It's usually white women with black men, and to a lesser degree is black women with white men. But the main relationships that are being promoted through the media is black men with white women. Now, I'm not mad at that. I'm not upset about that because I don't date black men, so I don't really care what they do. However, if the media is pushing something that is negative, that's having a negative impact on society, that's when I have a problem with it. Because honestly, these relationships that are being promoted to these young white girls, and honestly, it is working. The strategy of pushing black men to on white women is working tremendously. It is not a failure attempt. They are succeeding with what they're doing. However, what I will say is that I grew up around black people. I don't live around a whole lot of black people right now. Currently, I live in a country part of Florida near dairy farms and citrus farms, and it's 92% white where I live. Now, when I grew up, I grew up in a predominantly black city in Detroit, and I do know how horrible black people, especially black men, can be. A lot of them are evil. They are very hateful, especially towards black women. They just hate black women for no reason other than the fact that the black woman resembles them. And a lot of black men hate themselves, and they hate black women too. And so out of anger and hatred, they go to white women, and that's not real love when you are going after somebody out of hatred. That's not good. Okay, so what I'm saying is, what I'm trying to say is that what they're pushing on the young, impressionable white girls is not real life. The real way a black man is, he's an evil creature that does not take care of his family. And unfortunately, a lot of these white girls are just being left in the dust. They go after these black guys, and then they end up knocked up. And, the black man doesn't take care of their children, and he just runs to the next white girl. And he does the same thing. So, he's a repeat offender. He just, he doesn't stick around with these white girls. And a lot of times he ends up, getting these white girls disowned from their families. He ends up, giving the white girl a baby that he doesn't take care of. And the white girl becomes a single mom, with nobody to take care of her or her child. And it usually ends in disaster, because it's not the fairy tale that the media is pushing. What the media pushes. Let me tell you what the media pushes. The media pushes a basketball player, a football player, or a rapper at these white women. And these football players and these rappers and these basketball players, these ballers, all these ballers that are being pushed to these white girls, they have a fictional life of marriage and millions and millions and millions of dollars in basketball money, millions and millions of dollars in football, NFL money, and so-called millions and millions of rapper money. Okay, so these rappers and these ballers, these basketball players and these football players are being glamorized and put on pedestals, and then they're served up to these white women in these fictional relationships that they're just in so that they can get publicity for themselves, so they can pretend that they have fame and fortune and pretend like they're also happy. And these type of relationships are being served up on a platter for white people. So the target is white people. That is the target, because it does make white people, white women especially, think that, these black men are good providers and good fathers and rich and powerful men, when they're really not. They're really not. Let me tell you something. So what I'm thinking about with Jeffree Star, let me put it like this. I like Jeffree Star, but I have to be honest, when I see things that, look like it's not quite what they're trying to make you think. Okay, Jeffree Star is supposed to be a very rich man. He's supposed to own this big, powerful cosmetic company. But when you start going to black people, then I start smelling a rat. Because black people, when somebody is being pushed onto a black person, a lot of times that person needs publicity and needs money. Because what will happen to a white person is that they will not be promoted if they are with another white person. So, and it's just the way it is. I mean, the most promoted relationship between two white people was Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt. And then that broke up, and then it was Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. And yes, that relationship was promoted heavily. But for the most part, most white people are not promoted. They're just not promoted when they are with another white person. So I'm trying to articulate the fact that Jeffree Star seems like he has fallen into the trap of, if he doesn't go with a black person, then he won't be promoted. If you notice, his video production has come to a grinding halt. He will not, make a video maybe once a month. And then when he makes a video, it's a money grab video for, selling a makeup palette. And I get it. I get that he's a salesman. I get it. I get that he owns a company. But I also own a company. I own Lion Plus Skincare. And I don't make commercial money grabs every time I make a Lion Plus Skincare video. I don't do money grabs. I'm not constantly making money grab videos. I'm not constantly doing infomercials. I'm not constantly doing commercials for Lion Plus Skincare. I'm not constantly trying to do money grabs. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you is that Jeffree Star has to be a little bit more careful with the company that he is keeping. He is starting to keep bad company. And honestly, that black man that he is supposed to be with, he looks like bad company. He looks like drama. He looks like, I don't really know who this man is. I think his name is Andre something. The black man. I don't really know who this black man is. I've never seen him before until last night. I was on the internet briefly, and he just looked like, I think he is some type of baller, meaning that he's a professional, either basketball or football player. I'm not sure. But what I'm trying to tell you is that whatever Jeffree Star is doing with that black man, I am assuming that Jeffree Star needs publicity, because honestly, from what it looks like white people are not being promoted unless they're promoting interracial relationships. Like, the only time white people get promoted big is when they have to be with a black person. So when they are pushed to the black race, they're pushed with these ballers or these rappers. And honestly, I just feel like, we shouldn't be expecting, interracial to be pushed at us all the time. I don't have a problem with black men. They can date whoever they want to. But when it's just something made up that's causing harm, then I have a problem with it, because honestly, it is causing harm. It's really doing damage to the white community. It really does. Unfortunately, from what I have seen, when the white women do go after these black men that they think reminds them of a baller, it ends in total disaster. A lot of times these type of relationships are ending up in unwanted pregnancies, is ending up in single momships with no child support. It's ending up with, a lot of times, the white women being killed by black men. A lot of these white women, are, after a certain amount of time, they get strangled, and it's always the same thing. I have so much evidence of this happening. The white women usually get strangled to death, and then they get thrown into the trunk of a car and burnt up. And once they get killed like that, it's just so much fury in the killing. And I don't know why they kill them so violently, but they either end up just as single moms, or they end up dead by the black man. The black man ends up killing them. And honestly, the old phrase used to be, once you go black, the white race don't want you back, okay? Or once you go black, you can't come back. Or once they go black, they become a single mom. Now the new saying is, once you go black, you end up dead. I mean, so we as a people have to stop letting these people and the media push these things on innocent people that's causing harm. If your goal is to promote love and race mixing, that's one thing, but it's not ending up as love and just perfect harmony relationships. These relationships are ending up in total disaster and death and destruction. So, promoting these relationships to young, impressionable white girls that don't know much about black people, that don't understand the horror of a black person. And, you might say, but black people, we're all equal. No, black men a lot of times are underdeveloped. A lot of times they have lower IQs than white men. And a lot of times they have hypersexual sex drives. And a lot of times they don't know how to have a proper relationship with a woman. And a lot of times it's just, from what I have seen, it's just ending up in total disaster bombs. I mean, so Jeffree Star is just another one of those white people that are feeling the pressure to be seen and to be noticed, and so feeling the pressure of of needing to have publicity. He is selling out and going with a black man just for publicity. I'm not fooled. I do not think that Jeffree Star is really in love with that black man. I think he has just, quote unquote, sold himself to the devil. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God and I don't believe in Satan. But whoever these pushers are of, bad things and that have a negative impact on society, let's just call these people the devil. So if he has sold his soul to the devil, and now he has to promote all this race mixing, and he has to promote himself with a black man, just so he can be seen, so he can keep selling cosmetics. Because if he was promoting himself with a white man, then I guess they told him, well, we can't promote you, because if you're not promoting race mixing, then we can't promote you. So Jeffree Star, it seems out of desperation, decided to just jump on the race mixing bandwagon and is promoting race mixing. Race mixing is okay, but you have to be careful. Like, if somebody, like a white person, doesn't know exactly how to tell the difference between a black person and a nigger, I mean, there are differences. To me, there are. I mean, I can tell the difference between a black person, a person of color, or a nigger. I mean, niggers, all black people are not niggers, and one day I'll explain to you what I think and how I classify, different variations of color, of colored people, of black people, of niggership. I mean, I have my own way of looking at things, and maybe, you might agree with my way of looking at things, and you could adopt my way of looking at things for your own life. But I'll one day I'll do a video on it. But this is becoming extremely dangerous. It's getting to the dangerous level of promoting these relationships to white women that don't understand the true nature of black people and don't know much about black people except for what the media is lying to them about. The media is telling them, this is this way and this is this way, and if you marry a black man, you'll be in riches and fame and fortune. And these white women, are running after these people because they want to be seen and they want to have a so-called rich look about themselves. And honestly, a lot of it is just smoke and mirrors. It's just, it's foolishness. I don't feel like I've articulated exactly what the agenda is. And, right now we are going through a time frame of, the year 2020 where we are being bombarded with COVID-19 news coverage 24 hours a day. Black Lives Matter news coverage 24 hours a day. Then we're being bombarded with pornographic rap music on the front page of YouTube. Then we're being bombarded on Instagram with these Instagram baddies that are, selling pornography and prostituting in hotel rooms. Then when you go on TikTok, you have these hashtag twerking babies and hashtag babies of TikTok that are promoting pedophilia and child pornography. Then you got these hashtag chili dog videos of dogs that are promoting bestiality and other filth. I mean, we are being bombarded with things that are having a negative impact on our society. And honestly, when they are pushing interracial relationships, they're pushing and pushing and pushing. And it honestly is working on a certain type of white woman. And honestly, it is causing a negative impact on society, because a lot of these white women are running after black men that are doing horrible things to them, that are just fucking them and leaving them with pickaninny Furby children that they don't take care of. They're also killing white women left and right. After they have sex with them, they end up killing them. And honestly, it is leading to white women being left, single moms causing destruction, and, financial burdens on the states that are having to provide welfare for these children because they don't have a father. And then when they're not doing that, and believe it or not, and this is a story in its own self, a lot of times when white women, from what I have seen, I'll go into it in another video. From what I have seen, when white women have black sons, they end up beat the sons. By the time they turn 18 or 19 years old, the black sons end up beating the shit out of their white mothers almost on a daily basis. They're cussing them out, calling them bitches and stuff, and then just beating the fuck out of them, and the police are being called repeatedly at certain households that I know of in my neighborhood. There are white women with teenage sons, black sons, that are constantly beating the fuck out of them, constantly, chasing them out the house, beating them up as they run down the street. And, it happens a lot, believe it or not. So, white women don't realize that when they have these Furbies, these black boy Furbies grow up to be black men, and they end up just being violent with these white women, with their white moms. And it's a horrible thing. It really is having a negative impact on our society. Is when the point that I'm trying to make, and I'm trying to articulate it as best as I can so that you have a full understanding and grasp on what I'm trying to say. When white women are being fooled and bamboozled into thinking that black men are super attractive and handsome and good providers, they end up with something that is not that way. They end up with someone that is so different from what the media is portraying. The media is giving them a false image that they will never be able to live up to because it's false, is a false image. And all these white women that are walking around with these nigger men, and then these white girls. And here's how the scam goes. The media portrays the white women living in the lap of luxury, living in mansions, driving expensive cars, eating at expensive restaurants with these so-called ballers and rappers. Okay, so, these young white girls, they grow up looking at that. They grow up looking at it, and they end up wanting it. But when they do go to a black man, the black man, in reality, the real life black men don't have a dime. They don't have any money. They don't have anything. They don't have a car. They don't have a job. They don't have clothes hardly. So the white woman ends up buying them clothes, riding them around in their car. Then they move in with the white woman, and then they have a baby together, and the black man can't provide for his wife and his child. And a lot of times they're not married. He can't provide for his family, so he leaves. And then he goes and finds another white woman to do the same thing to, until the baby comes, and then he leaves because he does not accept the responsibility of having a child. And it just ends up as a disaster. And if that white woman ends up still keeping her life, she just ends up, being a white woman that no white man will accept or take care of. And she just ends up single and living in a life of poverty. Whereas if she would have married a white man, at least he would have took care of her, and at least he would have been a father to his children, and so on and so forth. But she, by her being bamboozled by the media, she thought that the black man was just magically just a magical nigger, just some magical nigger that has tons of money, but it's not working out like that. So what I'm trying to say is that, when people are given a false image of things, and they, have this false image of what is being served up to them, it does cause destruction and damage, because they, the white women are fooled, and they're being tricked, and they're being bamboozled, and they're falling for the trickery. And unfortunately, it is having a very negative impact on our society. And, white people that don't know anything about black people, and they only know what they're shown on TV or in magazines, they don't know what is really going on, or what's really going to happen to them when they marry or when they lay down and fuck a black dude and get pregnant. They don't know, and they don't understand life. I mean, so white girls, you got to stop being bamboozled by the media. You got to stop watching so much TV. You got to stop watching all these rap videos. You got to stop reading the UK Daily Mail and being fooled by all these interracial relationships that look like they are all fun and good, because you got to pay attention to what's happening in the world around you. And if you see that the reality is that the white women are just, getting fucked and left with a Furby, then, and a Furby is nothing but a nappy head pickaninny, and, that the nigger boys don't take care of, then obviously you need to pay attention. Pay attention to the real world. Don't pay attention to what the media is pushing at you. So so let me say this. Jeffree Star is just one of those people that is promoting this agenda, and he basically, in my book, just a sellout, because honestly, he had an option. He could have just stayed with white men, but he's lowering himself just because he needs publicity, just because he wants publicity, just because he wants to be seen, and the only way, I guess the promoters told him, the only way we're going to let you be seen is if you promote the race mixing agenda, if you promote, bestiality with a black buck. And that's what a lot of white men call, black men, when they are just black bucks being used as sexual tools. And honestly, if that is what the route that Jeffree Star has gone down, where he is just wanting to promote this type of interracial bestiality with a low level, low IQ black man beast. I mean, so I'm actually shocked and disappointed that Jeffree Star has sold himself to that level and that degree of, where he feels like he needs to promote interracial race mixing. And you could tell it's a fake relationship. There is no real love there. Jeffree Star is just doing that simply so that he can be seen and so he can sell cosmetics. And it's not even a real relationship, most likely. He doesn't really like black people. He has a history of calling people niggers and stuff. And then, now all of a sudden he's with black men. No. You don't go from calling people niggers to, engaging in human bestiality with a black beast. You just don't do that. You just don't go from one extreme to the next like that. Jeffree Star is very pro-white. You can tell that Jeffree Star is very, very white. He is very Aryan, and he may not have natural blue eyes. He may not have natural blonde hair, but you can tell that he has a very Aryan mind. And I am not fooled by his so-called new love for black people. He is just doing this just so he can sell cosmetics and so that he can keep his name out there. So I feel like he is just one of those people that will promote that level of bestiality when it comes to a low-level black man. So what I'm saying is, but you might say, well, that black man is a human being. A lot of times black men are just getting so fucking nasty and filthy that they are just nothing but a beast in my mind. So I call it bestiality, and that's how I feel about it. So anyway, guys, yeah, I feel like Jeffree Star is a sellout. I feel like he's just doing it just to be seen, and that's all it is to it. Do I still like Jeffree Star? Yes, I still like Jeffree Star because, I know and I get it. He's just basically using black people, and that's all he's doing. He's stepping on black people, stumping on black people, just stepping his way up to the top. And if he feels like he needs to, promote something that he is really not even really into, he's just doing it to get views and to get promoted. And honestly, he got to survive. And honestly, he got to sell his cosmetics. So I get it. But please don't be fooled by all this race mixing that's being pushed at you white girls. Somebody is tricking you, somebody is fooling you, and somebody is bamboozling you. So the target is the white race when it comes to this. And honestly, they're doing a lot of harm to white girls' minds. So at the end of the day, just be careful, white people, that you don't get tricked and bamboozled by people like Jeffree Star promoting race mixing when you know goddamn well he is not interested in black men, period. So it's just a trick. It's just a ploy. He's just doing it to be seen, and that's all it is to it as far as I'm concerned. So live fiercely, love viciously, and remember, atheism is unstoppable.